What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, this is where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. This cold, still hanging around, still kicking my butt a little bit, but we're going to power through this week's news. So if you enjoy the news regularly, hit the like button. Let's jump into this week's topics. First for this week, the official announcement of the Element V3 Builders Kit. Now this has been updated substantially from the previous versions. It now has the XF transmission, which does flip the motor around, so it's a little bit more forward than their standard stealth transmission. On there, they've also done some part swapping with their other kits as far as like the Gatekeeper style shock mounts, front and rear now. They've also changed out some things that were just long overdue, things that you would have expected to be in these kits for quite some time, like metal pivot balls. That is a selling point of this new one, is that they're including that. And also the metal panhard mount. A few things there. They are including two different wheelbase length sets in there with links. It does come with high clearance links as well. 12.6 and or 12.3 and 12.8 inch wheelbases are included in here. Price, gonna put it right square up against the Axial SCX 10.3 Base Camp Builders Kit, which these things are gonna be fairly comparable as far as specs go now that Element has updated some of the materials that they're using in certain situations. The biggest thing will be that while they are making some of those things apples to apples, like the Axial version still's got offset axles, a little bit more scale styling as far as that goes, things like that. So Element's getting a little bit closer with the platform, but some of these things are starting to look a little dated. Their axles definitely dated at this point. Could use an update or a refresh to have something more in line with the scale styling of the offset front axles, whether it be a portal or a straight axle. But like we said, at least this one keeping up a little bit better with the competition. Next, new from Reefs RC Rod Ends. Just rod ends. Nothing that special about rod ends. These do have the Reefs logo on the side, which you can expect, but it's still not all that exciting other than the fact that this is one of Reef RC's first molded or injection molded plastic parts, at least that I can recall. They have done the silicone work mat, which are technically some sort of injection type setup, but getting into a few more of the other, higher volume type injection molded parts, they did pick up some new people. Maybe this is a, part of that ball rolling, kicking in with some of these kind of staple products like that. Not surprising to see, but they did release these. They had some of these on display both at NERSA and at Proline by the Fire, and now they've hit the website. You can finally pick those up for yourself. Not likely a product you're probably just gonna go out and buy separately on its own, but the next time you're on the Reefs RC site picking up a servo or some servo horns or whatever you may be after, maybe it's worth giving a shot. And new this week from Vanquish Products, new VTS foams in a 4.19 inch size. This is meant for Class 1 style tires. Vanquish has the Falcon Wild Peak RT 4.19, so this is made to pair with those, but obviously you can use them with any 4.19 inch tire that you're after. These foams are a closed cell inner and open cell outer, but the two layers are glued together so they won't shift around. It also makes it a little bit easier on the installation side. One density available for these. If you're looking for some new 4.19 inch tires and or foams, you can check those out over on the Vanquish Products website. Also, you'll find these available at dealers and distributors wherever you like to shop for Vanquish most. And if you're watching the news right when it comes out, you may have to wait a few hours before those 4.19s hit the site. But speaking of time, live stream takeover, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, same time every week for a really, really, really long time. Come join Matt and I for our discussion of what's been going on during the week as we both make our lengthy recovery from Proline by the Fire and dive back into all of our projects. Lots to discuss this week as usual. And this week we have to spin again for our series, Praise Wheel. That's a series where Matt and I are both taking H10 optics, upgrading them every week as directed by the wheel, by sheer chance and there's some just fantastic options on that wheel that are meant to punish us. So if you're interested in watching that, you can come watch us spin the wheel live on the show. But of course, make sure to watch this week's episode of Praise Wheel first. That will be up at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. Unless you're a channel member, which, segue, then you get the opportunity to watch the videos early. Like you can go watch Praise Wheel now if you'd like. Channel members get to see all the videos a little bit early, like scale news you get to see the night before, Praise Wheel, things like that, a couple of days in advance. Also, it just helps support the channel a little bit more. And we also do some like exclusive behind the scenes type member video stuff that's a little bit more candid. But if you're interested in supporting the channel a little bit more, you just want to see the videos a little bit early. Either way, we appreciate it. And there's more information in the description part below. So check that out. Speaking of H10s though, DSM Off-Road has got some more H10 optic option parts. That's not easy to say. We covered some of the options that he came out with here a few weeks ago, but now he's got a new just kind of like open bed version or empty bed, however you want to say that, version for the H10. You take the rear fuel cell out, just kind of put this little drop bed in there, gives you an area to carry your firewood and sleeping bags or bungee cord, whatever other scale stuff you can come up with on your own. Otherwise, he previously had a rear bed setup that had some 3D printed parts already like designed into it. This is just making it simple and empty, so you can add whatever you would like. You can check that out on DSM's website. I'll put a link to that below, as well as links to all of the stories that we've talked about in the news so far. Redcat released new versions of the 64 Lowrider. Now, we saw these at NERSA also. These are a new two-tone style paint job with a white top either on a blue base or an orange base. But besides the color change of the top and interior, inside there's also some other changes. They've changed the steering servo setup to use one of their little micro servos, a little bit lighter weight, and I think it's a little bit more proven than the servo that they were previously using. And then I believe it also has an updated version of the Reefs servo that it used to actually create the hopping motion. So a few little updates and changes there. Beyond that, the same, classic 64 Impala styling. And again, the orange looks pretty sick. The blue also looks good. In person, the paint jobs on both of these are excellent, but obviously orange is the best one. Next, some new wheels and tires from Method RC. Not Method wheels like you've maybe known for longer. It's a company called Method RC that is making wheels and tires. The options that they just came out with are for the Losi ProMoto. I saw these popped up on A-Main this week. So just another option for that. I believe that I have seen Method RC pop up more so on like some of the basher tires and things like that. But I think it's just kind of like, I saw it and I didn't really pay much attention to it. And now it just popped back up and I was like, oh, such a confusing naming thing with something that we've got so used to seeing with Method wheels, whether it be full size or RC. We've seen Method used on a lot of different platforms and branded through a number of different companies. I think that, molded Method wheels have come on several axial vehicles. You have the machined versions from Vanquish, and then, the full size world, you see Method wheels everywhere. So just a confusing thing that popped up, whether or not you need these tires for your ProMoto. Tread pattern doesn't look bad. No idea how their compound is. Maybe if you're a basher, you've used them previously and you have something that you can chime in on that about. But beyond that, it was mainly just about the name and how odd it felt. And then we have another new release from RGT. Now, this is the Shooter 1/10 scale LCG crawler. But this one is coming with brushless and coming in two different versions. It comes in blue or pink. It looks like it has a Fusion-esque or a Fusion motor in it. Can't really say for sure because the information that I've got was from overseas and the translation was pretty bad and it was a lot of just photos rather than actual text to be able to translate. So it appears that that is kind of the route that they've gone. What was most interesting about this, beyond the fact that it's a LCG, forward-ish motor with carbon fiber frame rails that look fairly standard, but You can get it with aluminum axles as an option. They've got two versions of this, one that is regular molded and one that comes with aluminum. But the one that comes with the aluminum axles, the axles themselves are pink. That's the only option. If you want the car with aluminum axles, the brushless and the carbon, you have to get pink axles, which is, I mean, some people would absolutely want to get the aluminum axles. I just don't feel like the people that would want pink axles more so than any other color outweigh how many people just won't buy it because you made them pink. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with pink. I don't have a problem with pink at all. I don't want it for my axles though. It's just, I just feel like the weirdest choices get made sometimes, and they make it all the way, like there had to be meetings and discussions and votes that happened on this, and somehow pink won. That was the best option that they had or they thought of, and they were like, yeah, that is the one, that will be the only one. Make it, make a box, make a promo video, press photos, and release it. You never you never know. Would have loved to hear how those meetings went. But that's going to do it for this week's news topics. I think we should tie in the question for this week right into the last news story. Last week we discussed about like how RC has helped you, or how you know, like how it puts, and we had some of like the most amazing comments, like heartfelt, great stories, time with family, getting people out of rough times. I mean, some of the just most amazing comments that I've had on a video. So anybody who took the time to make one of those comments, I tried to read through all of them in there, and Nicole did as well, because they were really great comments. This week, we'll just keep it a little lighter, a little bit more on the fun side, and I think we should go in and discuss what you guys think are the weirdest product choices that you've ever noticed, whether it be RC, full size, whatnot. Matt and I actually discussed on the live stream last week. Someone gave us at Proline by the Fire cup noodles s'mores version, campfire s'more. If that isn't one of the weirdest product decisions ever, that right up there with pink axles. So I'd like to hear what yours are. What do you think are some of just the weirdest choices companies have made for their products? Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew or Sour Patch Oreos, whatever it may be. Let's hear what they don't have to all be food. Maybe I'm hungry. Everything I just think about is food. Anyway, that's going to do it for this week's episode. As always, thank you for watching. If you're interested in joining the channel membership, there's more information below. Much appreciated for any of you who are interested in that. But with that, again, thank you for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoy it. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you see the videos as soon as they get uploaded. Only like 50% of you are actually subscribed to the channel who watch this. So hit that. It helps a bunch. But that's going to do it. See you on the next one.